Hello, everyone. Welcome to this delicious rainy day. We've been needing moisture very badly where we are, so I will rejoice in the moisture, and I hope you will too. I'm Reverend Deanna, and this is our midweek reflection for the 6th week of Easter season. That's 6 weeks. And we are coming up also to this Sunday, May 5th, is Red Dress Sunday. And so we're going to talk about that, as well as our passages are John 15, 9 to 17, and Micah 6, 6 to 8. So I was reading the passage. I'd set this worship theme up a long time ago, and I was looking through it. Our theme this for Easter season is daring to live as Easter people. And a couple weeks ago, I did a midweek reflection on love. That's what it's all about. And so I was reading the passage from John, and it's the commandment to love one another as yourself. And I'm like, here we go again. This love, that's what it's all about. And I was like, I feel like sort of a broken record, or like maybe you might start to think, well, she's not very creative. She just keeps talking about the same thing over and over. But I think that we have to, because the kind of love that we're talking about isn't just basic kindness. It's not about being, nice. It's not about your marriage. Or your partnerships. It's about how it's deeper than that. It's about how we engage as society, as we engage with our planet. It's so much deeper. And that's why I chose the Micah 6 passage, because it's the one, what does the Lord require of you? To seek justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with God. And so the kind of love that we are called to isn't sort of superficial. It's deeper than random acts of kindness. Like, don't get me wrong, those are important, but it's deeper than that. It's a kind of love that calls us to seek justice and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with each other, with the planet. It just so much. And so that's what I was thinking about. And, I think when I was thinking about myself, I'm like, I think generally I'm a pretty warm, friendly, kind sort of person. So you might find, if you feel like that about yourself, you might hear the, love one another as yourself, or love a neighbor as yourself. And you think, oh, done. But as I was thinking, like, I often struggle with experiences that are outside of my knowledge, outside of my experience. And so sometimes what my brain tells me, love one another as you love yourself. And when I encounter someone that is different, or have an experience that's outside of my own, sometimes that's not the first place I go. So, for example, in the United Church in 1988, there was a very bold, daring statement made that all are loved, regardless of their sexual orientation and identity, and that all can become members of the church. And as then, if you can be a member of the church, you can also be a leader in the church. And then not long after that, in 1990, I had the privilege of going to our national meeting, our general council, and that was the first time for me that I had seen, for example, two men dancing together and holding hands. And then my brain, like in my head, I believed in the statement the church had made. Yet the experience of actually seeing it lived out I struggled with a little bit. I've come to terms with that, but that was because it wasn't something I had experienced in my lifetime before. Similarly, I remember taking my dad to an appointment in downtown Edmonton, and we were walking to the building, and we passed a bus stop where there were some unhoused people sitting there, and my dad was engaging them in conversation, and I was terrified, despite the fact that I believed in my head that people are people. It doesn't matter their situation and circumstance, that if you are kind, people will be kind back. And in that moment, my experience was challenging my brain. And sometimes, so we have experiences that challenge our beliefs and stretch us. And then sometimes we have experiences that are so poignant and so poignantly reinforce our beliefs that we just sit there and go, kind of dumbfounded, right? Like, wow. And so a few years ago, we all went up to Smithers, BC to visit some family friends, and we had amazing experiences up there. We were able to see salmon spawning, and there was a little museum explaining the history of salmon fishing in the area from an Indigenous perspective. And I remember thinking, that's kind of biased. And then I caught myself thinking, oh, so that's what it's like when we read our history books. And because every perspective is biased of sorts. And so it was just an eye-opening experience for me. And that same trip, we were driving around looking for another site, and on the highway, we saw this red dress hanging and the sign that said, "This is the highway of broken tears." And I was like, this is it. This is the place where women and girls go missing all the time. And it just hit me. And we stopped, and we actually turned around, and we went so that we could see the sign and the red dress again. And we talked about it as a family, and about how important it is that all people, all lives are mattered, and that we stand up for those that aren't, that we seek justice until all lives are equal. And so as we come towards Red Dress Sunday and hear the passage from John about loving one another as God loves us, and the passage from Micah to seek justice and love kindness and walk humbly, I challenge you that if you encounter a topic that maybe you're like, you're sort of resisting because you're like, I feel like we just always talk about that. Now, why do we have to keep talking about that? I challenge you to just sit with an open heart and receive it and learn from each other. And also, because then that is the way that we seek justice, we love kindness, and we walk humbly with each other, is by listening, and until someday, I hope and pray that we get it. Until then, I will keep talking about love, because that is what it's all about. Take care, my friends. God bless you. Bye.